The purpose of our website is to provide an easy-to-use tool for coaches, scientists, and athletes to generate and view a RacePower plan for outdoor time trial cycling races. The website allows the uploading of a course and the details of the cyclist and bike, and using these, the website can calculate the power usage of the cyclist over the course of the race and then display it on an easy-to-see graph. Parameters can also be tweaked on the service to adjust calculations in line with the latest research. All information is saved to the user's personal account, allowing them to access it wherever and whenever they need.
There are three main types of users of our system. Firstly, athletes have access to information, such as a race power plan, which uses a physics engine to predict race performance. In this way, they can independently develop a visual understanding of how to best strategize their race. Sports scientists are another user, and their goal is to study athlete performance and modify various parameters to measure potential improvements. Finally, coaches are responsible for coaching their athletes, enabling them to better understand their performance. Coaches are involved in all aspects of the site and help bring the connection between theoretical knowledge of the physics engine and practical application of the race power plan in order to support their athletes. We envisage that all users will interact with each other in the real world to provide informative feedback and suggestions on improving race performance. However, they will still use our system as a collaborative tool to meet their individual needs.
An example use case for the application is that coaches can input data regarding their bike plus rider, such as their mass and drag, the course, which is a GPX file, and the date plus time, which is for the weather. This will produce 3 different graphs, and this will allow coaches and riders to gain analytical insight into the race and themselves in order to optimize their performance during the race based on their data, allowing them to plan ahead of time. The bike and rider are combined into one object in order to accurately measure the drag. Here is the first output graph. This is called the power plan graph. It shows how the cyclist's speed and power output responds to different levels of slopes at each point of the race. This is great for understanding how the rider should adjust to different parts of the race and manage their energy. This is the time analysis graph. It shows how some changes in the parameters can affect the overall performance, such as time and average power of the rider, such as the rolling resistance on the wheels, the power, drag, and mass. The blue graph shows the change in elevation levels throughout the course. And the green graph divides the course into segments and shows cumulative effect on every single time step, as well as how long each segment will take. This is the weather graph. It provides information on humidity, air pressure, and relative wind speed during the race. Coaches and riders can plan to adapt to the physical conditions of the course ahead of time. Overall, these analytical insights serve to help the coaches plan for the race, modify equipment, and train their athlete accordingly. So for the first user story, it is, as a user, I would like to create an account so that I can log in. To sign up and create an account, you click sign up. You input your name, your last name, the desired email, and some password. You sign up, and then you should be brought into the page. And you can log in by clicking on the login button once you signed out and inputting your email and password. There you go. For the second user story regarding course segments and adding a course, all you have to do is log into the website, go to dashboard, and then go to course. You can select a GPX file of your choosing, such as the World Champions 2022 Men-Women Elite track as a GPX file. Click this button to upload. And now you are given an interface in which you can modify the sections and so on. For example, you can add a course name such as World Champs. You can set it to public or private. And you can segment the course into multiple segments depending on your choosing. For example, you can start at 0 kilometers and end the first segment at 5 kilometers. Here you can select the terrain. So you have choices such as light, heavy, and medium. Let's just pick light for this one. And then you can add another segment of your choosing. Set it to heavy and add. And now you can upload this and it will be stored in the website.
User Story 3 regards accessing and creating a race from the course that we've just uploaded. So to create a race, we go to the race page and then click Add Race. Here is a form that I've already filled out. Here we have the display information of the race name, road type. We can then input a bike that we've already created and a course that we've just uploaded, as well as filling out course information, including humidity, road condition, the wind direction and wind speed, the temperature, and the terrain type. Once we've done this, we can click Add Course. This will generate the course and allow us to view the visualized data. We can then click the View button to load the course, and then we can see our RacePower plan. Here the RacePower plan plots the elevation, the power, and the speed at different points along the course. We can change it from the distance of the course to the time run in the course, and to view some of the sections up close, for example, let's say we wanted to view the first 5 kilometers of the course, we can highlight it to zoom in, and then we get a close view of the course power plan. User Stories 4 and 5 regard viewing alternative data visualizations, including seeing and tuning the supply and demand model, as well as adjusting parameters. To do this, we have the Time Analysis and the Weather tab. Time Analysis allows us to see the effect of time loss through different segments, as well as having different parameters on these sliders to be changed to also view the effects. The Weather Analysis tab allows us to see the changes of weather effects over time and distance on the course. These data visualizations allow coaches to improve their coaching, as well as to explain better to athletes the effects on the race.
Going back and looking at the product owner's model description, we can identify 2 components that are missing from our final product. Firstly, in the short-term scope, the users have indicated that they may want to calculate a race power plan months or years in advance, possibly in a completely different country that they have never been to before. While we have implemented a way to collect weather data using an API, we have not made it possible for users to use historical weather data. To add this functionality, we would add additional components to the forms on the race page that allow users to choose if they want to use historical weather data for their calculations. They can then select the country, date, and time of the weather. We will then request that data from the Weather API and use it in our calculations. This would only require some extra fields to be sent in the request. Examples of how the front-end forms would be added can be seen in figures 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom of the slide. Secondly, in a longer-term scope, we didn't have enough time to implement stricter security measures for user and admin accounts. Adding 2-factor authentication would make users feel more safe and secure about their accounts, especially because there would likely be important data stored in the database. To implement 2FA, we would use a library called Authy, as it could be easily integrated with our Node.js environment. We would require that all admins set up 2FA to minimize the potential for critical data breaches, and we would give other users an opt-in choice for whether they want to have it enabled. These changes would require creating an extra page and form for turning 2FA on or off and entering in a phone number. We would also need to create a new page to be displayed during login for users to enter in their 2FA code. Additionally, we need to modify our authentication routes to further support this new feature. And finally, we would need to modify the database to store user phone numbers. Examples of how these front-end changes would be added can be seen in figures 1 and 2.